Giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kahakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right. Title of this video is "The World is Full of Hypocrites that Sympathize with Wickedness." Okay. The world, and when I say the world, I'm talking about the state of these people. Primarily the American people, because America consists of some of the most wicked, most rotten people on planet Earth. All right. So the world is full of hypocrites. Okay. And a hypocrite is somebody that, says one thing, but then they do another, or they condemn somebody for doing something, and then they turn around and go do the same thing. All right. That sympathize with wickedness. Okay. And what brought me to, what inspired me to do this lesson is, I was thinking about that guy, Faux Extra, that fucking buffoon. Okay. If you don't know, Faux Extra is a well-known gangbanger, a viral social media gangbanger, right? That, blew his hand off, basically playing with fireworks. Okay. And, ever since he came into the game, all he's done is promote that thug, demonic image that is responsible for a lot of our young men to either be locked up in prison for the rest of their life or put in jail. No, Salakia, locked up in prison or put to death is what I meant to say. All right. And he perpetuates that. Okay. And he blew his hand off on the 4th of July playing with fireworks. And hours before he blew his hand off, he was on Instagram with the same exact fireworks talking about how he gonna blow a nigga up. He gonna throw these fireworks at somebody. Basically, he was saying how he's gonna do bodily harm with those fireworks, okay, towards somebody. And the Lord turned the tables on him and blew his fucking hand off. And you can go look at the image on online, and the image is it's graphic, man. Faux Extra blows his hand off. That's probably all you got to type and you'll find it. But his hand they got to amputate that. That shit is nasty work. Okay. But the point is that, okay, this nigga, he's a demon. He's a well-known gangbanger demon that was talking about how he's going to, blow somebody up, in his own words, with those fireworks. And he blew his hand off, and you actually got people that are sympathizing for him. This nigga got a GoFundMe, and he's already raised almost $10,000 for his GoFundMe. And, motherfuckers is trying to make him seem like he's a good person, and he's, the description in the GoFundMe is talking about, oh, he just lights up the room. He's somebody who lights up the room. He brings a lot of laughter. He's a fucking imbecile demon, man. Okay. And he showed his ass all over the internet. Why are people feeling sorry for this nigga, man? Okay. But that's how this world operates. Okay. That's how these people out here operate. Everything that is wicked. Okay. Everybody out here is 100% in agreement with it, man. Like homosexuality. All right. Before people condemn homosexuality, they will sit there and tolerate a grown ass man with a 5 o'clock shadow. Okay. He got a wig and some heels on, and people, before they condemn him, they would rather just call him a woman and act like they don't see what they see. You see? Or women committing adultery, right? That shit is celebrated here. Okay. And then when something bad happens to these people, okay, who are doing wickedness, everybody is sympathizing with them. All right. And that's how you know that this world has been, has been influenced by Satan. Okay. Because only Satan can bring people's thought process to the point to where you know, the moral code and the moral ethic is, you know, completely biased, right? You know, people don't even want to consider, you know, the righteous path. All right. And Satan has done a very good job with, you know, putting out this whole narrative. Don't judge anybody. Don't judge anybody. Don't judge anybody. No one deserves to be judged. OK. And that comes from the slave plantation Bible, man, because that's what the Caucasian slave masters used to tell their slaves. OK, used to tell you Negro, Latinos and Native Americans. All right. He'd put a whip across your back. He'd put you through all sorts of different gruesome punishments for some of the most minute penalties. Right. But then he'll turn around in the same breath and say, OK, don't have any hatred for me. Obey your master. So, you know, that same ideology got carried on to this modern society that we see today. And now everybody is just a wicked goblin. All right. And nobody wants to hold anybody accountable, man. OK. The world is full of hypocrites that sympathize with wickedness, man. All right. I'm talking about, you know, 300 to 400 pound fucking rappers. OK. Musicians are on the stage, you know what I mean, about to tip over. OK. You at that one fat ass obese nigga. What's this nigga's name? Dave Blunts. All right. Dave Blunts. This nigga was on stage with a goddamn fucking oxygen tank because he's so obese. You know what I mean? He's so goddamn obese. He needs an oxygen tank. He can't even walk. Right. And he's on stage rapping and everybody is cheering him on like he's strong, like he's brave for getting up there. No, he's a goddamn moron. OK, he's a moron. And for him to get that big. All right. Really, he really shouldn't even be alive, man. OK, because he don't care about his health and he don't care about nothing else. All right. But stuffing his fat fucking face. OK, you see, this is why people, they hate the men of the Lord. All right. This is why they hate us, the true men of the Lord, because we hold these people accountable, man. All right. The scriptures talk about they hate him that rebuketh at the gate. All right. Because that's what we do. All right. We hold people accountable. We call out the psychotic behavior that these people have deemed normal at this point. All right. A lot of this shit. Turn this off just in case. A lot of this shit. All right. That we see on a day-to-day basis. OK, mind you, man, a lot of this shit is just shit that we grew up seeing. So we think that it's normal because we grew up seeing it. But hey, a lot of this shit is not normal, man. A lot of this shit is some freak ass behavior, man. All right. It's some freaky, crazy shit that we deal with on a day-to-day basis that we've been programmed to accept. You see, but it's really not normal, man. OK, it's really adverse to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai. All right. So let me get this. OK, let me get this. And then we're going to get this in Chat GPT because in Chat GPT, it explains something very interesting about this verse right here. This is John 7:24. It says, judge not according to the appearance. OK, and that's all that this world is about. Judging according to appearance. All right. What looks cool, how it looks on the outside. All right. You know, you'll have a full blown murderer. OK. You know, let's say, for instance, this nigga killed 10 people. Right. But all this nigga got to do is get on the camera and come up with this sob story about how it's not his fault. It's you know, it's because of this circumstance, that circumstance. And you'll have people sending this nigga money. You'll have people sitting there saying, oh, don't judge him. You don't understand what people go through. But he's a murderer. OK, same with the women. All right. All throughout social media. What do you got on social media right now? Women getting online. I just can't find no man. When am I going to find a good man? You know, none of these men are right. None of these men are good for me. I'm so much better than them. Right. And then you look at the comment boards and it's just a bunch of people gassing their head up. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you are better than them. Yeah, don't ever listen to nobody. Everybody is just a soothsayer to each other, man. Nobody's really holding each other accountable, man. Okay? This is what Satan has done to this society, man. It has X'd out the truth completely. Any type of truth, okay, is frowned upon, man. Okay, we're supposed to act like we don't see this. Going back again to that homosexuality shit, we're supposed to act like we don't see this grown-ass man with this wig and this heels and a dress on. We're supposed to act like we don't see that and treat this nigga like a regular woman. You see? The truth completely is cast off, man. That's because everybody out here is judging based on appearance, man. All right? What sounds good to their ears. It says, judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment. Now, let's get this in Chat GPT. Okay? Now, this is Chat GPT, okay? John 7:24. Okay? I said, explain John 7:24, okay? KJV. All right? It says, the verse comes from, it says Jesus, but we know that the real name is Yahushai. It says teaching where he encourages people to avoid making superficial or unfair judgments. All right. And the scriptures talk about a gift destroyeth the heart. OK, let me see. Let me see something real quick. To pervert judgment. OK, because this society is propped up with gifts and a whole bunch of different accolades. You know what I mean? A whole bunch of distractions and a whole bunch of goodies that people can hide behind, so that way they don't have to come to the truth. They don't have to cast true judgment. Okay. And according to Chat GPT, this is what Yahushai warned of, man, making unfair judgments. This is Proverbs 17:23. Let's go down to it. Proverbs 17:23. It says, a wicked man taketh a gift out of the bosom to pervert the ways of judgment. Okay. Pervert, twist, mangle. All right. Judgment, true judgment has been twisted and mangled in this society. Okay. Nobody is, holding anybody accountable. Okay. This is why the animal kingdom is all fucked up the way that it is, man. All right. People are sitting here wondering, man, why is there global warming? Why are the animals, in such a depressed state? You know what I mean? Why is the food bad? Why is all this wickedness going on in the earth? What's the explanation? The explanation is that the common person out here is not in touch with the Heavenly Father. Okay. Therefore, they don't have correct judgment. All right. And all of these bribes and gifts and all of these goddamn distractions, okay, has kept people from the truth. You see, the ancient world, okay, it was a more simple life. And people looked at it as, okay, that was boring because they didn't have Netflix. They didn't have goddamn amusement parks back then. They didn't have video games and, Coachella. People looked at that shit as boring, right? But guess what? Without all of them goddamn distractions and all of them goddamn accessories and shit, people were able to cast true judgment, man. All right, because they didn't have a whole bunch of shit, a whole bunch of different enchantments that they were bombarded with on a day-to-day basis. People were more simple and focused on what was important. You see? So with all of these goddamn, what could I say? Gifts. All right. All of these luxuries that this society has presented to these people, it's caused them to become fucking retarded, man. All right. I was watching some shit on TikTok, man, and that demon Candace Owens, which I don't like her, okay, but she do say some real shit, but I don't like her because she laid down and had a baby with a goddamn Edomite. All right, I don't like when the nigga woman, she get with a goddamn Edomite, and then that's when she wants to show her brilliant side. That's when she wants to be submissive and smart. Why couldn't you get with Jake and do that? But that's besides the point. But basically, she was on, I guess some podcast, some interview, and she was asking another Jake, another black man, and that's a goddamn shame that you black men have become this fucking stupid and pussy. Okay, she's asking this black dude. She's basically telling him, like, can men get pregnant? She asked him a simple question: can men get pregnant? This nigga gonna sit there and say, it depends. And then they start getting into this goddamn fucking, I don't know how long debate. It was just like some fucking ring around the rosy debate about can men get pregnant. And he know goddamn well can't no man get pregnant, right? But he's sitting here trying to, okay, well, we're talking about, well, it could be this, a biological man, no, but then like, what are you talking about, man? Okay? You see, that's what the luxuries and all of this madness, okay, that we've been programmed with, that's what it does to your judgment, man. Okay? It gets, you'll fuck around and be confused about gender. The most basic concept of human biology, niggas don't even know what the hell it is anymore. You see? So let's go back to ChatGPT. It says, judge not according to the appearance means don't make decisions or form opinions just based on what you see on the surface. People often jump to conclusions based on outward looks, actions, or initial impressions. You see? And you know that's of a truth, man. You know that's of a truth. Okay? It's all about surface level shit. All of these goddamn social media goofs that are popping up out of nowhere. Like, who are these niggas? These Kai Cenat, I Show Speed niggas. Obviously, these niggas is fucking degenerate. You know what I mean? Come on, man. They're on the internet blowing shit up in a room, screaming, making a whole bunch of noises. Okay, but because they have money, because they have a following, people are willing to bypass all of that nonsense that they see these niggas do. All right? And you actually got people that'll support them and send them money and look up to them like an idol. You see? That's placing your judgment based on surface level. Okay? The scriptures warn about that. All right? Let's go down. Here it says, Jesus calls for fairness. Yahushua calls for fairness and wisdom in judgment rather than snap decisions based on appearances. Okay? Now let's get, I'm going to just put this. What does judge righteous judgment mean in John 7 and 14? Okay? Let's see what that means. All right? Because this is the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. The spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, okay, is going to have you cast correct judgment, man. All right? Not because somebody's cute or somebody has a lot of money. None of that shit matters, man. Okay? If a nigga is going off, he going off, man. All right? Bottom line. All right? It says, what does judge righteous judgment mean? To judge righteous judgment means to evaluate rightly, fairly, and justly. Look deeper than appearances. Use discernment guided by truth. What truth? Okay, the truth of the scriptures, man. You're supposed to filter everything through the scriptures, man. All right? That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to filter everything you process through the scriptures, man. All right? This is why the Lord has the law, statutes, and commandments, man. Okay? You know, you look at somebody's character, you look at how they move, and then you go back to the law and be like, okay, let's see if they're in accordance with the law. And if they're not, then hey, they're going off. And you're supposed to implement a penalty or a punishment based on what that law says to do to a person like that. See, people can understand that basic concept when it comes down to the so-called white man's penal system, but you can't understand that when it comes to the Heavenly Father's laws. You see, you people are full of shit and you're hypocrites, man. All right. It says, let's see. It says, Yahushua is saying, don't be quick to criticize or form opinions just by what you see or assume. Think deeper, seek truth, and be fair in your assessment. You see? Okay? Being righteous judgment in the Bible means being objective, not partial, rooted in what is partial? Okay? Being partial is having a respect of persons, meaning that you have a, you basically have a favoritism thing going on. And this is what the scriptures say about that. Okay? This is Deuteronomy 1 and 17. It says, ye shall not respect persons in judgment. Okay, meaning that you're not supposed to have no favoritism going on. All right, it don't matter if she's a sexy woman. You got a lot of men out here that'll overlook a lot of shit, a lot of wicked ass shit that women do, okay, because she's sexy, right? She's a good looking woman. You know how much women have gotten away with their looks, right? Being sexy. And these niggas have turned the blind eye and let this bitch bamboozle him. Niggas is getting bamboozled out of money, getting bamboozled out of their sanity, man. Okay? Because it's a favoritism and judgment. Look at these goddamn celebrities, man. All right? Everybody else is wicked. Everybody else is a op. But when it come down to these goddamn celebrities, with Jake, with our people especially, it's like the celebrities can do no wrong. They're not worshiping Satan. They're not drinking blood. They're not doing these vile things, right? And we all know that they are. Those who are in the know, we know that they are. Niggas was sympathizing with P. Diddy, man, because some niggas grew up in the 90s listening to P. Diddy, and just because they listened to his music and they liked his songs, oh, well, he thought he wouldn't do that. He would not do that. You're a fucking loser, man. Okay? And this is why Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai is getting ready to set up the real judges of the earth, man. Okay? Those that have their senses, established to discern from good and evil. Because at this point, the average person is not able to discern from good and evil. That's why these niggas is smoking cigarettes and eating McDonald's, man. You put that type of shit in your body, you cannot discern from good and evil, okay? Straight up. It says, but ye shall hear the matter, you shall hear the small as well as the great. Ye shall not be afraid of the face of man, for the judgment is God's. And the cause that is too hard for you, bring it unto me, and I will hear it. You see? So you're supposed to be rooted in your judgment. You're supposed to have a fair judgment, man. Okay? But, hey, the title, going back to the title of this lesson, the world is full of hypocrites that sympathize with wickedness, man. Okay? Everybody's a sympathizer for the wrong things, man. Okay? Nobody is sympathizing for the prophets. All right? And what we got to go through, okay? Our job is way harder than a nigga working a goddamn construction job. Okay, we gotta wake up, work, do the Lord's work, and then on top of that, in our day-to-day life, we're battling demons, man. Okay, I just had a demon jump on a nigga right now. All right, as I was right before I did this lesson, a demon jumped on some nigga, man, and the nigga just started cussing me out. He looked at me and just started cussing me out and started flipping me off, and I'm acting like he wanted to fight me across the street, and I was just staring at him like, this nigga crazy. This nigga got a demon on him. You know what I mean? And I just walked off. Like, I'm not about to deal with that because it's a demon. You see? This is what we got to deal with on a day-to-day basis, man. You see? And don't nobody got sympathy for our suffering. But when it come down to some wicked-ass nigga like Fo Extra and all of these goddamn demonic idols that have done nothing but feed you Satan's poison, okay, you people are willing to empty out your bank account for these rotten motherfuckers, man. And that's why the Lord going to destroy this place, man. Okay, because this world ain't full of nothing but hypocrites and people that worship Satan. That's it. Okay, let's go back to ChatGPT and finish it up. It says, I'm gonna just read this right here. It says, seek truth, be fair, and always aim to reflect God's justice, not just human standards. Okay, a lot of this judgment that we see is based on human standards, what these common people think is right. All right. And another big reason why a lot of this judgment is perverted is because we've allowed these women, okay, to, be in a seat of authority to where they could pass judgment. Women are not supposed to be in that type of seat of authority passing judgment because things become confusing. All right. Because a woman is going to judge based off her emotions. That's why the scriptures say that her role, okay, her domain to judge in the order, okay, is supposed to be the household and the children. All right. That's where she can make a fair assessment because that's catered to her nature. Okay. That's catered to a woman's nature. A woman is better equipped with children because women are emotional, sensitive creatures. You know what I mean? So a woman can see the feelings of a child and make a better decision in that moment, right? But the man is supposed to have the overall judgment even in that, you see? But women are definitely not supposed to be in seats of authority, be senators and mayors and judges. No, that's because then you got what we got right now. A bunch of people judging shit based off their feelings instead of what's right. Okay, let's get this last precept right here. Back in Proverbs 17. Proverbs 17 and 15, it says, he that justifieth the wicked, okay? And that's all that this world is going to do, justify wickedness, man. All right? And when you look at everything as a whole, man, and you really put everything in a perspective, and all of these goddamn characters that we've been programmed with since we were children, man, a lot of these motherfuckers is just some demons, man. And we've been taught and trained to accept this nonsense, man. We've been taught and trained to accept being taxed, okay? Been taught and trained to accept going through Esau's educational system. You know what I mean? You know, where you have to, you got to wake up, you know, you got to spend all of your teenage years in Esau's educational system being indoctrinated, okay? You know, and they feed you all sorts of different lies, man, okay? Waking up, going to work, you know, have to do this is the only way you survive. We've been programmed with a lot of this shit that ain't right, man, okay? You wouldn't believe how far left we are from what Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai actually intended. But that's okay. That's okay. This is why our Lord and Savior is getting ready to come back and set everything right. Okay? Put things back in their proper order, man. Okay? But those of you who justify wickedness, man, all right, this is what the Lord has to say. It says, and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord. Okay, and it already tells you in the scriptures what the Lord is going to do to those that are an abomination. Okay, the Lord going to burn you with fire, man. All right. So you know, this world, you know, is chanting and doing this big hooray for this wickedness. Okay. Just understand that these people are going to be the ones that are going to be caught up in the lake of fire, man. All right, they're going to be in the lake of fire screaming for the Lord's mercy. All right, but they're not going to receive it, man. Okay, even before the lake of fire, man. You know what I mean? When this society completely collapsed, man. Okay, these people are going to be screaming for the Lord's mercy. All right, but they're not going to get it because the Lord is going to remember when these people were, you know, cheering on, you know, government politics, voting, going for Donald Trump and voting, especially our people, you Israelites. Okay, you at the polls voting. You know what I mean? You celebrating all of these goddamn holidays, you know, justifying wickedness, man. You are an abomination to the Heavenly Father, man. Okay? You got niggas out here that ain't even homosexual, but this nigga is willing to fight to the death for his homosexual best friend, right? Knowing goddamn well that what they friend is doing is unnatural, but he'll fight you to the death to defend their honor. But when it comes down to somebody that's speaking the truth, bringing it out the Bible, you know, we just the most wickedest person walking the earth. Okay? So, Lord willing, this was edifying. Let me give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. Shalom.